Good morning, everybody. And what a nice audience we have in Madrid today. Look around. We have a full room, and I do hope that many more are watching us online. And I also hope that you didn't come to Madrid only for the beautiful city of Madrid, although it is super beautiful, but you also come because you love interoperability and you want to make things happen with interoperability and artificial intelligence. We've heard many inspiring messages this morning from our keynote speaker, Sim, also from the CIO of Spain, Director General of Digit, and Commissioner Han. And they all spoke about digital transformation, interoperability, and AI. But actually, as I'm in this business for quite some time, I have been, talking and listening to speeches about digital transformation for way too long. So long that I actually wonder, is there anything left to digitize? Or is the target anywhere in sight? And actually, Sim talked about that in his speech as well, because we are entering into a new phase. Digital transformation might have been over in terms of digitizing, but there's something new coming up, and that something new is AI and interoperability. So in order to demystify digital transformation, interoperability, and AI, we have together with us 6 panelists. So thank you very much for coming to Madrid to share your ideas, insights on interoperability and AI with us. And I will start with introducing our host today, Santiago Grania Dominguez. Santiago is the Deputy Director at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Digital Transformation in Spain. Santiago is actually in charge of the plan for the digitization of Spain's public administration, so that's quite a challenging task, and he has been working in the public sector for quite some time. Prior to that, he worked in the private sector in software engineering, so something that we have in common, Santiago. Then we have Natalia Aristimuño Perez, who happens to be my boss as well. So welcome, Natalia. Natalia has an impressive track record in digital transformation. She's led teams to develop user-friendly digital solutions for public administrations. And now, as a director for digital services at the European Commission, she has a super interesting portfolio covering artificial intelligence, data, but also EID, blockchain, and interoperability. Then we have Adam Lebeck from Denmark. Adam is the Deputy Director General of the Danish Agency for Digital Government. You also have an impressive track record in leading projects in digital government, and in particularly, Adam has led Denmark's flagship projects such as EID, but also now he's leading artificial intelligence, data, and interoperability projects. Then we go to Pamela Krepkowska. She is a Deputy Director for Innovation and Technology at the Ministry of Digital Affairs in Poland. Pamela and her team, they focus on artificial intelligence, IoT, and HPC used in the public sector, but also in the private sphere. And she's actually been an AI architect at Microsoft. Next, we have Eileen Fuchs. Eileen, welcome. Eileen is the head of division for data policy strategy and open data at the Federal Ministry of Interior in Germany. She and her team, they focus on data policy matters in Germany, and they aim to have a data catalog at federal level. She has been working on digital policy matters and skills for quite some time, and she has a very strong background in European law. Last but not least, we have Pilarin Lilemets. Pilarin is the Chief Digital Strategy Officer at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communication in Estonia. Pilarin is an expert in digital transformation and cyber policy matters, and she has more than 10 years experience working in the public sector, but also for international organizations such as NATO. So panelists, welcome. And I hope you're ready to get started. I know that each of you come from a different country, so each of you has a pretty unique story to tell. But I'm sure that the audience and I would like to understand where you're at the moment. And we know that every country has a different, it's at a different stage in its digital transformation journey. So let's start with the basics. I will ask you the same question, and you will have 3-4 minutes to answer that question. So I kindly ask you to stick to the allocated time. So let's start with our host, Santiago, also next to me. Where is Spain on its digital transformation journey, and what kind of roles do interoperability and artificial intelligence play in your digitization journey?
Okay. Thank you, Leontina, and good morning, everyone. A pleasure for me to be here. The digital transformation journey in Spain, actually, I would say, can be traced back to 2007, when we declared the right of business and citizens to have an electronic relationship with public administrations. Later on in 2015, we moved to, within a multi-channel approach, to digital by default, both within public administrations and also with citizens and businesses. So starting from 2007, there have been a great number of information systems, digital services developed by the different levels of administration, national, regional, and local. From the General Secretariat of Administration, with the help of the CIO of Spain for the public sector, we've been in the business of developing platforms, as SEMIC commented before, regarding electronic identification, data exchange platforms between all public administrations in Spain. Interoperability plays a central role for our country. We have 8,000 municipalities, 17 regions, a broad number of ministries and agencies. They have quite an independent roadmap for IT and digital services. But so you would not find a central system, a unique system for a given task, but rather a network of interconnected systems with semantics and technical specs. So we had to develop an interoperability royal decree back in 2010. It's been updated since, with more than 20 technical standards to be developed across time, and with a great collaboration within the 3 levels of administration. Now, artificial intelligence comes to provide better services, more proactive services. We are piloting, developing, or putting into production some of these services. What we find is that, of course, I agree entirely with SEMIC, data is at the heart of powering these services. So we're building data spaces, data lakes for model training and for supporting these tools. And also digital skills in employees and technicians need to be developed for these tools.
Well, thank you very much, Santiago. A royal decree for interoperability. I'm very happy to hear about that. You really take interoperability seriously in Spain, and I think the results are showing up. So thank you for that. Well, now let's move to another part of Europe. Let's move to Poland. So, Pamela, I'd like to hear from you. We're curious to hear how digital the Polish digital public sector is, and what's your take on interoperability and artificial intelligence? Please.
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's important to note that our Polish National Interoperability Framework had 11th birthday this year, so I'm very happy for it. You know, it's going to be adult sometime in the future. And it's very important for us because, as well as Santiago had mentioned, like we have ministries that are working on their specific task of making the digital services for the given area as health or as, for example, moving abroad, as you have already mentioned. And it's important to say that this interoperability allows us to basically create the services that will easily connect. And in the interoperability framework, it's a hard word, you can find a lot of things that are also in the Interoperability Act in the EU. So basically the minimal requirements for the IT systems and the encryption needs. And I think what is important is that I'm really happy that this conference is happening and events like this are happening, because basically, as you already mentioned, that as an architect in my, let's say, past life, I know that the non-functional requirements of the system is what makes the system tick and work well. So this is very important that we take it seriously, especially in administration, which is basically some way decoupled in many countries, as in Poland. So when it comes to AI specifically, what I think is important and has already also been mentioned by Sim is that what comes into the picture is data. And we are very aware of it in Poland, that the data is an important part that's coming into the way we have to deal with it, because the data that the model has been trained on it cannot be, let's say, taken away from the model itself, right? It's a package. So we need to, if we want the model, which in itself is basically a system that can be added to different digital solutions, it needs to be made well. It needs to be made well on the good data, which are also interoperable. So we just created a new initiative, which we call Data Centers of Excellence, which basically means that we have a national data center for Center of Data Excellence, which basically creates standards for transparency of data, representativity of data, so that we know that the models that we're creating can be shared by different research institutions and academic institutions. And it's easy to track, first of all, what the model has been based on, knowing the data has been transparent, has been collected well and labeled well. And then we can share this data and share these models with full confidence that it's a good model. It's been built well. So I think in this age of AI that we're moving into with the public sector, it's important to stress this importance of the data and focus on making it important in the center of the equation.
Thank you so much, Pamela, and happy birthday to the Polish National Interoperability Framework. I hope that you have many more successful years ahead of you. So congratulations, and looking forward to see what else is cooking in Poland. Well, Adam is next to you, so let's go to Denmark next. Adam, is there anything left to digitize in Denmark? And what's the digital transformation journey in Denmark have to do with interoperability and artificial intelligence? Please tell us.
Thank you, Leontina. It's a good question. And first of all, thanks to be back great to be back at the SEMIC conference. Is there anything left to digitize? Probably not, because most services, and actually I think we haven't found services that are not digital yet. Most communication is digital. Most citizens are online. We have a 98% take-up of the EID services among the adult population in Denmark. So a lot of services are online. Is there room for improvement? A lot. And actually, you can just see the AI revolution, I think, makes it different for everybody, because we've been working with AI and AI in government for many years and have a lot of testing experience. We work with data and interoperability. But right now, what is happening is the entire population is getting a glimpse of what you can actually achieve with generative AI. They use chatbots, the ChatGPT, they use Midjourney, productivity services get co-pilots and so on. So you have this vast experience among both the public and also people working in the public sector, what you can achieve with AI. So what we really want to focus on is how do we leverage the services in the public sector, creating services that are better, creating what Sim told us. How can you, for instance, create government by prompt? What say we wanted to take the user in the center and create services that are tailored to the user? And when you think about it, it requires a lot of things. And at the bottom of it is data and interoperability. So we have to focus on it, but we have to focus on it at the same time as putting the user in the center and focusing on the value we create to the user. And that's really difficult, because often you think about building the public sector as, say, a building like this one. First you build the foundation, then on top, until you have the user on the top. What we really want to focus on is building everything at the same time. Can't do that in real life, but you can do it if you focus on it. So we have to build the foundation at the same time, and we put the user in the center. I think that's one of the key difficulties that we're going to work on in the coming years.
Thank you very much, Adam. And I'm very happy to hear that you're not happy with the status quo and you keep on improving the services that you're delivering to your citizens and businesses. Let's move on to Eileen. Eileen, what is cooking in Germany in terms of digital transformation, and what's your personal take on artificial intelligence and interoperability?
Yes, thanks for being here again. I'm really happy to see many faces that I've seen before in the years, and I've moved kind of to the data field more from the digital transformation field in general. But I think that Germany, we have a lot that's cooking actually at the moment. There's been many initiatives with the new legislative period, a digital strategy that's new, a data strategy that's new. And of course we have, when you talk about digital services in Germany, we have, many know that, we do have challenges, constitutional ones. We do have a vast landscape of communities and regions and the federal level that need to work together. And that's been ongoing for the past years. I think we've achieved a good bit of some good results already, and there's more to come. I think there's also legal changes on their way that are going to make it easier to actually build solutions, one-for-all solutions and building blocks that can also, in my view, at some point involve AI, of course. And I think AI will make this process easier to accelerate the provision of services and how we develop them in Germany. But saying that, I think that the core issue is data, the quality of data, that we have more data also from the public sector that is exchanged with the private sector, that is also used within administration in a better way, better quality. Interoperability is at the core, and that's what Seema also said in the beginning. I mean, the data governance issue is underlying, and it's for us very important to work on that, and that's part of my job. So we've built data laboratories within government where they're setting up and analyzing their data. We're building a data catalog, which is quite a challenge, actually. We've set goals to have actually a center for consultation and evaluation of AI tools. It's in the making, and perhaps it will someday be a platform for AI solutions in government. So I think that's how it all knits together. And in the end, I think, and I hope that for the citizens in Germany, we will have better and more public services online soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Eileen. We definitely hope that they do, and good luck with developing platforms for the use of AI and interoperability. Well, let's, as Pilarin is sitting next to you, so let's go to Estonia. It's going to be pretty hard because SIM has already unveiled some of Estonia's key projects, but I'd like to hear your views on digital transformation in Estonia. And similar to Denmark, is the digital transformation in Estonia done? Have you finished everything? Is there anything left? And what about interoperability and artificial intelligence?
Thank you, Leontina. And first of all, well, yes, everything is done because you're putting me in a tough spot speaking after Siim, and then the notes that I still had left, Adam stole them. So I am in an uncomfortable position. However, I think this is a good thing to make oneself feel uncomfortable at these days, and that's why I take up the challenge. So I'm not going to go through all of the projects that are going on in Estonia because Siim gave a very good overview, and the legacy that he has left in the best possible way is really something to live up to. However, the strategy that he put on the screen, we are already reviewing it again. Because that is the thing. We might be far, but we're far from being ready, because that's kind of the goalpost keeps on moving all the time. And we have a lot of good things going on. We have a very good baseline, but what Adam mentioned as well, what we need to think about now is probably the human-centric side. And that's why I think it's good that the current digital strategy officer for Estonia is a social scientist with a military background. Because these two things kind of play in a combination. From the social scientist side, what we're looking at now, we're asking the questions of what does human-centric interoperability mean in a nation, for a state that is already very digital. And having that kind of, you know, my background from NATO, interoperability there goes without saying, because when you're out there in the field and your you know, ammunition doesn't fit, you're just not going to deliver. And that's kind of the same kind of thinking we have the known knowns, we have the known unknowns, and we have the unknown unknowns of what AI is going to bring. But what I do know is that when we have our interoperability set for the unknown unknowns, if we, you know, if the ammo matches across borders and cross different sectors, then we can adopt more to, you know, than the unknowns that are going to be there. So we have a lot of tough questions currently on the agenda on exactly what the next leaps are going to be, and we're taking all the great foundation that was built with the things that Siim mentioned to a next level.
Thank you very much, Pilar. And indeed, I think Veronica said it as well. In order to deliver the next generation of digital public services for citizens and businesses, we need a mix. We need to bring together policymakers and engineers. Only engineers is not enough. Only policymakers is not enough. So you're reinforcing that idea that we really need to come together to make sure that not only we're ready, but we're actually heading the game when it comes to artificial intelligence. And for that, we need interoperability, as you were saying. So thank you for that. Now, I would like to close this first round with Natalia, and I would like to invite you to give us your perspective from a European perspective on digital transformation, interoperability, and artificial intelligence. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here and see that the SEMIC fan club is still there and very lively. So I'm very happy to see that. Also, I would like to thank Siim to you know, say this fan club is indeed so important because we are talking about strategic topics, and I think this is also something very important. And I have some good news. Because we still have a lot to do. This is indeed, we have heard. We are at different levels. It's like more than 20 years we are talking about digitalization of public services. And we have seen, okay, we evolve in different ways, but we have seen, and I have to say that the current context, the COVID crisis and all that came, make quite some changes in how we embrace technology in the public sector. I know that some countries were already more advanced than others, but I think that there we really had a point where we transformed our mindset. We were ready to go faster in getting the technologies in our public services. And I think that this has been seen. And we can look, we are today in the digital decade. That's our targets, we have our targets. But really, we see this change on how to get this technology and for sure, interoperability. We have a lot of legislation put forward on that, but now we have to see also how we are putting all these elements together. I have also because I have a double role, I would say, in my position, because I not only look at European public administration transformation, but I also help and contribute to the one of the European Commission. And there is something, and I will link it to what also Siim was saying about this is something that has to go up to the leaders, because there are strategic decisions that we need to take when we do the digital transformation. And this is also, I would say, the digital culture that we need to bring to all our public administration and all the people working in the public administration. So so not letting only the technology aside, but also that we need to understand and to be more digital, having a more digital mindset in all what we do. And I'm not talking about the IT departments in the public administrations. I'm talking about everybody. And there is where we see that AI coming, this is even more important. Because indeed, we have a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns, that we have to work together to solve them. And this cannot only be done by the IT department, or even the data department, if it is a different one. So this is something that we are seeing throughout Europe, and I think there also, and having all you together here means that we are also willing to do that together. We have seen and we have learned, and Sim put the European map saying that, well, that would be the target. Huh? So we really need to do all these things together. And we have seen that, and the Interoperable Europe Act that has been mentioned several times today is about that. It's about sharing, about putting together and agreeing on how we want to move forward. So I think those elements are very important, and we are really moving to the next level. Something else is, indeed, we have quite a number of public services already digitalized and online. Cross-border, as Veronica mentioned, still not there yet, so we really need to work on that. But also, with the speed of technology, the AI is one of those, but I mean, we see now the evolution is really at very high speed. So we cannot wait to see, okay, what's coming on. As you were saying, we have to build all the floors at the same time, and this is where it's so important that we do that together, because that's a way. If we can learn one of each other, then we can really go faster. And I think this is an important moment, and I'm happy to see, because with all of you here, I'm sure that we will be stronger and we will go faster. So I think that these are all the elements, and we need to change. You were talking about having the citizen at the center, but I would even go a bit beyond. In fact, now we are at the stage where we have to solve problems that do not exist. And this is something which, for a public administration, is quite difficult, but I think that we are now at this stage. And this is why it's so important that we change our mindset. We take the technology to help us, and bring that to the next level of digitalization, if we can continue talking about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. So my first takeaway after the first round is that we're doing pretty well. A lot of services are digital, but I've also learned that this is not enough. We need to think about the next phase. We need to think about the problems that we don't yet have, but we will have tomorrow, and we need to make sure that when they happen, we have the solutions to fix it, to solve it. We need more human-centric services, we need more proactive services, and interoperability and AI are really some of the foundation elements to help us make things happen. But now, as we know where we are, I'd like actually to get a bit more details about what is happening in your countries and in Europe as well. So I would like to start with Eileen in Germany this time. I've read recently that according to your Ministry of Economy in Germany, 80% of the industrially generated data is not used further. I've also learned, and you said it as well, that you have a new data strategy. So I would like to know what are the first actions coming out of this data strategy and how this would help you in terms of data interoperability and innovation as well. Please, Eileen.
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, I think we need to free up more data for use, and that refers both to public data as well as privately owned data. So we're having a vast set of measures that are laid out in our data strategy. I think we can group them into legislative, organizational issues, and then also technical solutions that we would like to implement across government. But also, and I think that's something that Natalia mentioned and emphasized, and I think I absolutely agree, it's the human factor. We need to change the way we handle data, establish a new culture of handling data, of working with data. And that's, I think, perhaps the most, the task that actually is the most challenging one, to work with the people in government and convince them that actually the data, that they need to free up the data and that it's for a good purpose. Because at the moment I find that this is a great obstacle working, when you look at all of government, the approach to data is a different one. So talking about my division or the work we're doing, so we're establishing chief data scientists within government, whose task is to basically analyze what kind of data they have and how to use it. It's quite difficult because we need to start from scratch in many cases. Then building a data catalog, as I said, across government. I wouldn't have thought that this would be so complicated. And there also the human factor is essential. Find the right people to talk to, get the data analysts to work with you, and convince them that actually the data they share is to their own benefit, or the metadata they share, establishing metadata catalogs, etc. I think with a lot of the technical issues, AI will be a big help eventually, once we can use it within government. But I think the whole process issues of and who actually hosts a data catalog, who then takes care of it once it's established, who will keep it updated, etc., etc. So very interesting topic. I could talk longer about this, but the other thing is, once we have not only the metadata, but how to share data more, is of course building more data spaces. So we do have data spaces already in the area of mobility. We're building the health data space. We would like to have an administration data space, a proper one, a data lake or data pool. So we have first proof of concepts running for that. And once we have all that data and we know where it is, of course we need to use it. So we have a great effort made to analyze the data. In the data laboratories we've set up, we've published first dashboards for government, for even our ministers, to actually use more, to create a demand for good data. And I think that's also something that will then foster this agenda and push it further, because if our leaders work with the data and they want it and can use it, actually see sense in it, then we will have a momentum going to have even more data to share and to use and visualize. So in a nutshell and short, I think that's currently our agenda, and it's there's far more that's working on actually in the area of that we're working on in the area of health and science. There's big projects and a lot of not necessarily interconnected stuff going on, but I think it's all within this whole policy of having more and better data to push for AI, to push for a new data culture.
Thank you, Eileen. And I think that everybody here that has worked on creating data catalogs can confirm that it is hard work. And the result is not so obvious as one might think. So good luck with that task. It's definitely something that we want to keep on our radar as well. And maybe your success story could inspire others as well. So let's now move to Denmark. Adam, we know that Denmark is one of the most digital countries in the European Union, and you confirmed it as well, saying that pretty much everything is digital in Denmark. But we also know that the challenge for digitally mature countries is how to keep on innovating instead of building digital debt, which is obviously a challenge. So what are you doing to keep on innovating in Denmark, and what kind of challenges do you face when trying to use artificial intelligence for better digital public services? Please.
It is a challenge, and again, you have to focus on different things at the same time. When you want to focus on innovation, you need faster development cycles, because user needs change all the time. One example from EID, we have the same EID as the banks. Denmark in 2022 didn't have any bank robberies for the first time in history. 20 years ago, we had 200 bank robberies in Denmark, one every bank day. Last year, we didn't have any. But they all moved online, the criminals. So how do we keep up with that? It needs constant focus. in a few years, they'll start using AI even more, the criminals. So it really puts a strain on us as in the public sector. We have to innovate all the time and be more agile and user-centric in the way we work. At the same time, we want the foundation to be good. So you have to work on both things at the same time. And in terms of developing the systems in government, we have to be more agile, and that's what we're focusing on, becoming more agile in the way we work, including with our vendors. And at the same time, we have the strong focus on creating the data. We work a lot on our metadata catalog as well. We work on also creating better quality basic data across the systems. These foundations need to be in place. So you have to work on this at the same time. And then we also have a special challenge I would mention. We have a small language area. So a lot of our AI efforts have also gone into focusing on getting the systems able to understand Danish better. And it's really a challenge, and it requires a lot of data management. It's really a strong focus point for us to create the foundations for the market to be able to train the models that understand Danish better. And we also have benefited a lot from the European cooperation in the area, also with the standards, to create and get this challenge underway, because it's really a foundation for us to go to the next level in Denmark, unless we want Danes to interact in English. And I think that probably not very popular in Denmark, for only English.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam. And I think other countries are also facing the same challenge. So we would be really interested to know how you're solving it, and maybe share the example with others as well. So good luck with that. Well, you're sitting next to me, so it's always easy to ask you a question, Santiago. We know that Spain has a very strong regulatory framework for interoperability. You mentioned earlier the Royal Decree on Interoperability, and this has been pretty much your success story for legitimacy and predictability in order to digitize Spain's public sector. But are you going to bet on the same recipe in the future as well, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence? So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, having a sound legal or regulatory framework is of the utmost important, although it's not the only key to success, of course. But on the side of the legal part, as part of being the presidency of turn of the Council of the European Union, we're making our best efforts to push forward jointly with the European Commission and European Parliament for the artificial intelligence regulation that will help us, both private and public sector, to develop artificial intelligence in Europe. We also developed a couple of years ago our Charter of Digital Rights as part of our Digital Agenda 2026, and there is a specific part devoted to artificial intelligence, guaranteeing rights of the citizens in order not to be guaranteeing digital rights with regards to artificial intelligence and neurotechnologies. As part of the experimentation also with our artificial intelligence and the development of artificial intelligence projects, we'll see guidelines on the use of certain technologies like generative AI. But also there are like two other pillars that have to do with technology and governance that are also important. With technology, as I said before, we have one strategic out of our 5 strategic lines in our digitalization plan for automation of public services and use of artificial intelligence that we are putting together with virtual assistants, with telephone assistance lines, using technologies like deep learning, machine learning for large volume of documents classification, job vacancy classification, that is helping us also to get a sense of the benefits of artificial intelligence and also the risks. We're also financing autonomous communities and local entities with projects regarding artificial intelligence. And the third pillar would be the governance, to have open channels with all levels of administration in Spain to share best practices and common approaches.
Well, thanks a lot and loads of success. Well, we hope that you're making the right bet, and hopefully others will be learning from that as well. You mentioned the AI Act and a few others. I will also add the Interoperable Europe Act, so hopefully that too will be a contributor to your success recipe for the digitization of the Spanish public sector. I would like to go next to Pellerin in Estonia. Actually, while looking at the indicators like DESI, you seem to come on top consistently when it comes to online provisioning of digital public services. So I'm pretty sure that you're not going to have an issue in meeting the digital decade targets to have all key services online by 2030, because most likely you already have it. And normally, I mean, Sim explained and you explained as well that online provisioning of digital services requires interoperability, so probably you have a high level of interoperability, and we also know that Estonians are pretty used to consuming services online. But now for the next step, for the revision of the strategy that you mentioned, what are you doing to make sure that you maintain a high level of user engagement and a high level of user or human centricity, as you were saying earlier? Please tell us.
Thank you. This is a great question, and I'd like to come back to the DESI indicators and sort of reflect on why it's important to keep these in mind. It was very easy to sort of, define ourselves and being defined as being the best when the best was sort of, binary. Either you had digital or you didn't have digital. But where we, I think, find ourselves now is kind of defining what does best look like for us. What is best for Estonia is not necessarily best for Spain, because we're, the size is different, the introvert-extrovert ratio is different, all kinds of things are different. So what we're looking at right now is asking the question, what is the human-centric best for Estonia, and then how do we bring this to be in the age of AI and age of unknowns, if you will. And what I really was talking about the skills, what I really liked that you mentioned was about getting to the new mindset, and I think that's very important. And moving from the ICT skills, moving we need to have. I mean, it's great to have the base layer. We need to have the base layer, but what we're talking about right now is how do we make the education on the skills on all of the new emerging technologies kind of part of how we learn in general. It's not that we have coding lessons, but we are using coding as we learn about the world. It's kind of getting that seamless flow of how the world looks today into our education agendas. This is kind of where we're thinking about. So what are we doing in more concrete terms, and in terms of the strategy? As I said, we're asking the tough questions. If as Sim mentioned, we're doing the right things. And we're probably doing the things right that we're doing, but are there other things that we should be doing? And one of the things that the new government now has also pushed for is a concept of personalized state. And what that means is still sort of in the makings, but in principle it's exactly providing the services to the people when they need them, what they need, however they might need them. And here I'm gonna tell a story, and bear with me those who were here yesterday and heard it. As it turns out, I am here, but my luggage is not. And everyone has been in this situation where when you take connecting flights and you figure out that the best parts of you are somewhere in Paris. So what I would have wanted at this moment, as a human being, as a citizen, would to take up this app that Seem showed and say, dear chatbot of mine, please find my luggage and make sure that it ends up where I need to be as well. I know that it takes a sort of a public-private sector cooperation, but this is kind of the end goal. Where if we think about what we as human beings want to achieve, then this is kind of the way that I would want to go. And it's very important to take yourself out of the shoes of just what is possible from the technical level, but kind of where the end side is. The other tough question that we're asking, as again Seem led in, was why we ended up on government as a platform was because of also money. And building good things take money. So what our government now is pushing for is basically zero-based budgeting. Don't ask me yet what it actually means in the end result, because it's a new concept in terms of what we're currently doing is we're reviewing what we are doing. What are the services that are out there? And we're asking the tough question, are these the things that we should be doing? And what can we not do as well? And what can we do together? And also not just what can we not do, but what we shouldn't be doing because it's not good for us in the long term. I'm going to bring in one more thing that we haven't mentioned here, is the Green Deal and is all the sustainability. Well, I learned 2 days ago that my request for ChatGPT takes as much energy as it would take me to boil 2 teaspoons of water. So all of this needs to be kind of incorporated into the new strategic thinking as well. So tough questions that we are asking from ourselves, and as an end result, what coming up with what we need to be doing, what we can be doing with others, what we can leave out, and how we change the mindset of those all of the people so that they would be comfortable in the unknowns and not have solutions, but have ways of thinking about solutions.
Thank you so much, Pellerin. And actually for you, I wish there was a service that would contact you proactively to say, dear Pellerin, we found your luggage. You're going to have it at today, 3 p.m. How do you want to pick it up? Shall we deliver or shall you come and pick it up? So hopefully that will happen in the near future. Thank you very much, Pellerin. Let's continue with Pamela, with Poland. And we know that Poland has a bit of a love-hate relationship sometimes with digital transformation. You're top of the class when it comes to open data and access to open data, and we know that's super important for transparency, which is super important for trust. But at the same time, things could be a little bit better when it comes to adoption of digital public services, and in particular, AI solutions. So what are you doing in Poland to step up the adoption of AI solutions and digital public services as such?
Yeah, that's true that basically the goalpost keeps moving, as we have already said. And what we're trying to do, first of all, is we're trying to know some things in the age of the unknown, because we need to understand. And I think the understanding comes and action comes in 3 parts. It comes in a part of the citizens, it comes of the parts of the companies, and it comes on the parts of the administration itself, because it's basically a connected graph. We cannot look at one without looking at the other. And one thing that we have already found, which was a very interesting study, which was done by the Foundation Digital Poland, which was looking at what people in Poland think about AI very holistically. And some of the numbers were really good. I'm really happy about this, because 40% when it comes to how do people feel about AI, 40% of people say that they're interested, that they want to know more, and that they think that this is an interesting and cool technology, and only 7% said they are afraid. So this is a very low number compared to what I was expecting. So I think, of course, we have stuff still to do, because only 50% of the Polish society understands and knows AI when it comes to the definition of the OECD. So some technical terms, but made it a bit easy for the people around. But there's still the gap of knowledge that we need to fix. On the second side, when it comes to the companies, and in Poland we mostly have SMEs, so small medium enterprises. which might be also the situation for some other fellow colleagues here when it comes to the enterprises. And what we're trying to do is we see that the companies are not that fast in implementing AI and using technologies like AI and IoT. We're very high of using e-services, so e-services are quite high, but IoT, AI, and HPC, quantum, these are things that we still need to work on. And what we have done with partnership with GPI is we created a website which is called, the initiative is called AI for SME, and this website is sort of like a matchmaking website where you have the Polish SME, so like small, medium companies, and the companies that deliver AI solutions. So it's sort of like a marketplace where you can find a company that might help you with your digital transformation when it comes to AI or IoT. So that's one thing. You might also assess how far you are when it comes to AI understanding and AI adoption. So this is another thing that I think is important, because it also creates this platform idea, right? That we have this place where everyone can go, assess how good they are, and kind of see where they can go forward from there and find their, let's say, partner in crime for this AI solution. And the third part, as we say, is the administration, right? So we have the saying in Poland that the shoemaker often walks with no shoes. So we don't want to have the situation that, you know, we're digitizing everyone else, but then we don't have shoes on to walk in. And what I think is a very cool story is one of the SMEs has created for one of the cities in Poland, Gdynia, a chatbot which was used by internal services in the, let's say, the city call center for answering questions of citizens. And they reduced the time of dealing with, let's say, one citizen who is calling 30%. And why I think it is important, because as governments, how I see it, we cannot, let's say, move fast and break things, because we need to deliver to the citizens reliable, transparent, and secure services. So how I think this creates a very nice cycle is like by empowering the SMEs and giving them, let's say, space and understanding to POC the technology, to see how it works, they can, let's say, give it back to the public administration via creating those services which are stress-tested, transparent, and reliable. So I think this is an important cycle that we're trying to work on right now.
Thanks a lot, Pamela. That's a very interesting perspective. And I'm glad that you actually brought up the private sector up, because we always talk, at least in this community, we always talk about the public sector. But sometimes we do forget that the private sector struggles as well, particularly when it comes to adoption of AI solutions. And then to make the circle complete, we need both. So thank you very much for your insights. So I'm gonna close the second round with Natalia again, intentionally. It's not that often that we actually put together in the same sentence semantic interoperability and artificial intelligence. And somehow you're responsible for both, because you have both in your portfolio. So I'm curious, I'd like to hear from you. Does artificial intelligence need interoperability? Does it really make sense to speak about interoperability when artificial intelligence potentially can solve all our problems?
Yeah, indeed. So in fact, we could close the conference now, because AI will solve it all. But no. So yeah, no, there is a lot, and Sim already brought it. And we have also seen, well, we talk about the unknowns of AI. We all know the challenges that are coming with AI. And we have also seen, well, Santiago mentioned digital rights, moving the bank robberies to the digital space. So this means also, and you will see why I'm saying this, because we need to make sure that the rights we have at physical life, they are also the same, or we respect all these values with the digital world and AI. So there is where you see the links between semantic or interoperability, but precisely semantic interoperability and AI. And we need both, so one cannot go without the other. As Sim was saying is, okay, we have some challenges in semantics, data governance, data quality, up to the top of changes in data models. But then let's use technology to help us in improving that. So we have seen how and in the workshops also yesterday, this is an element that is very important, but also the other way around. To get really very good results with AI, you need to have very good data, and data which you can trust. So you see that here we can see hand in hand how both go together. Not only talking also about the fact that you may have a chatbot in one country that would be great interoperable with another one, but so this means that interoperable by default has to be applied to AI, whatever, is a system, is a service, so this needs to be interoperable. We all agree on that. So that doesn't matter if it's AI or not, but also how AI can help in building that. So they really go hand in hand, and Sim already put very high the report that has been done on AI for interoperability. I'm not going to read the report neither, now or mention it now. Go, read it, and you will have all the answers to the question. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Natalia, for your answer. That reassures me, because otherwise I will be out of a job tomorrow. But also we would need to change the title of the event, and I think it will be a little bit too late for that. So we do need both. Now, I see that we're still doing well on time, so we have a few minutes to spare. So I would like to invite you all to make some closing statements and maybe react to what you have heard today. So this time I will go more, structurally. So let's start with you, Pilarin, and we'll finish with you, Santiago. Pilarin.
Thank you so much. And I, first of all, just want to say that this has been very inspiring, and also it has been a great way to confirm that the thinking and the challenges are shared across Europe. And one particular way that I find is very useful for the takeaway from here is many of you have mentioned the difficulty of actually taking on the uses of data in decision making, and we have pilots going on. What we also are currently doing is based on the government's work plan, we are trying to implement the dashboard of data-based decision making. And it's very good for me to go and say, well, I know that this is a challenge, but this is a challenge across, and we just had this conference where all of the countries were sharing the same. So I think it's very important to keep each other constantly in the loop of what's going on, and again, what can we learn from each other like this, and I made notes on picking up some topics with other colleagues on future possible cooperation ways. I mean, and here the frameworks on an EU level are very useful, because even though our bests might look different, what is like when we have a measuring stick, when we have the framework of thinking of what are we actually looking at, when we can compare ourselves in these terms, then it just gives us the linguistics or the semantics or the terms for the conversation, and that's a very useful thing to take forward. So again, coming back to our own strategy, making sure that it's also interoperable with the EU regulations is something that we're looking at. So thank you everyone for the inspiring examples.
Thanks a lot, Pilarin. Eileen, what's your main takeaway of today?
Yeah, I've got many ideas on how to use AI more when we're talking about assembling data and analyzing data. I think that's something we need. In Europe, we can really exploit in the sense that we offer a different way of using AI, of employing AI, also as states, but also in the private sector. So I think that, speaking of interoperability, it can be a tool to help interoperability, to move faster in that direction, but also to exploit the results of interoperable data. And I think that's it moves both ways. And I'm kind of happy to hear that we're all thinking more or less in the same direction, and that both aspects are not excluding each other, but on the contrary, that they need each other, and we need to integrate them better. And if we can learn from each other, I mean, that's the sense of the conference, and I'm sure I learned a lot, and we'll get in touch with many of you later on. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Eileen. Pamela.
Yeah, I think I will repeat saying that now I'm going to set a meeting with every single one of you so that we can share, so that I can learn more and bring home more ideas of how things can be done. And I think from maybe a takeaway with what I think is important from what we talked about, so when it comes to kind of stepping up on this journey of interoperability and AI, is I would say that do research in your country and kind of see where companies, citizens, and administration lays when it comes to using of the services. Put data governance first, which is a very important point that needs to be brought to the leaders as well, because you don't have to understand it that much. People can be made easy. And also try to translate, which is a thing that we are also dealing with and was brought up a bit with some of the answers, which is like try to show to the companies, the citizens, what the acts actually mean in easy words and not lawyer words, because that's the thing that we're kind of doing right now, and I think it's important to see that all these acts are coming up and what it actually means. And yeah, I think there's a lot to do because, you know, we're stronger together, and that's the whole idea, and via this we can all move faster as we sit here, and many others.
Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. Adam, what's your takeaway of today's session?
Oh, thank you for a great conversation today, and I think a lot of great insights. I would like to finish off with just a pragmatic note of caution in many ways. I was thinking about the example you gave before, a pillar in luggage getting lost. And wouldn't it be great to have an assistant that could help with that, an AI assistant? And it is great. But the pragmatic note is, to make it happen, we have to focus on not having the governance and regulation that makes it impossible. And that's a difficult question, because you need governments and regulation, because there are a lot of difficulties also with using AI. But you also need data to train the AI if you want it to succeed. You need to have the right regulation in place that makes it possible. And that's sometimes a difficulty that we want it to protect citizens. We want things to be interoperable, but we also need to focus on making it just the right amount that makes innovation possible. So the small SMV in a member country in Europe that does this fantastic application that will help you find the luggage actually gets the means to do it, and it's not blocked by all the good intentions that we have. So that's a final note of caution, and thank you very much for the discussion today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam, and wise words for the policymakers working on these regulations. Natalia, your takeaway of today's session.
Thank you. So I would start with positive, saying that we still have work to do. So I think that we are happy about that. Indeed, I think from what I have here today, and thanks a lot for having shared, we are really in this mindset changing. We are moving to a next level of digital transformation. And there we have seen all the actors that need to be involved at all levels and from all angles. And that's why, I mean, I'm so happy to be here, because I think also that if we do that together, sharing, and together we can go faster but also safer. That would be mine.
Thank you, Natalia. And Santiago, as our host, you get the closing statement.
Okay, thank you, Leontina. We have here, as you said before, 5 member states and the European Commission. I would like to link this with yesterday's CEO network meeting that was hosted in Madrid under the Spanish Presidency of the Council, where we had one panel on artificial intelligence, and we shared results of a poll that we did before the meeting. And what we saw yesterday is that most of the member states are highly interested in artificial intelligence, deploying in production or piloting, developing experiences, because we all share the great potentials that artificial intelligence have, including the latest ones like generative AI. So these technologies are coming here to stay. The only thing is that we have to harness this technology regarding GDPR, which is one elephant in the room, regarding digital rights. For this specific technology, we have created in Spain a specific agency for the supervision of algorithms regarding artificial intelligence, and you do not create agencies for supervising relational databases. So that's one thing that we have to take in mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santiago. And indeed, I mean, you laid out many challenges, also solutions as well. So hopefully, the rest of the sessions today will provide for more solutions for the challenges that you mentioned. It seems that we're going to be talking about digital transformation for a long time from now on. But I do think that we're walking the talk with different shoes that can take us further and faster, but also shoes that potentially can take us to new directions that we haven't really thought of in the beginning. So we have to be careful about that as well. So hopefully you'll get all the answers through today's event, through the many sessions that we still have remaining, so stay tuned. And with that, I would like to thank our panelists for sharing your ideas, challenges, and insights with us. We hope that you have a wonderful event as well, and I hope that the rest of you have a wonderful event as well. Thank you very much, and let's give a round of applause for our panelists.